Welcome to the Sunday Sit Down series. I'm Eddie Ramos, and today we are joined by Will Montero. Welcome to the show, Will.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you so much for having me on, man.
You're welcome, and I'm thankful that you've joined us today with everything going on in this crazy world and these crazy times. We do appreciate you joining us. Now, for those tuned in today, Will Montero is a former professional boxer. He is a professional ring announcer, and for many of you that do not know, Will is a professional actor. So we're going to cover many bases today of Will's experience inside and outside of the ring and share his story. So, Will, if we could start off, where are you from and where did you grow up?
All right, so I was born and raised in Perth Amboy, New Jersey. That is Central Jersey. To Dominican parents. My father, Camilo, and my mom, Gertrudis. Montero, obviously, both of them. And yeah, I grew up in New Jersey, small town, predominantly Dominican, Latino majority, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Cubans, Hondurians, Argentinians, anywhere from Latin America or even the Caribbean. I grew up with them, but mostly Dominicans.
Wow. So as you grew up, talk to us about some of your childhood memories and how it kind of led into the boxing world, essentially.
Man, so boxing, I was taken, well, my father brought me into the sport of boxing. He's been a big fan of boxing for a very, very long time. But one fight that stands out, okay, that I remember him talking so much about it, and it just drew me in, was the fight between Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. and Hector Macho Camacho. That fight, I remember my father talking about it constantly, nonstop. So we used to have pay-per-view fights in the basement, old school, the box and everything. My father used to invite people over. So, I wasn't that deep into boxing, but I've always been around it practically my whole entire life. So that, like I said, that fight stood out to me big time. Now, my father then decided, okay, I want my kids to learn how to protect themselves. So this is not something that has happened. You know how parents are, okay, we'll get them into mixed martial arts or into boxing so he can learn how to defend himself. My father started taking us into the gym real young, age-wise. And I started in boxing, but the addiction that I've gotten recently in my older years, I thank my father for planting that seed in me. So we started young. I was boxing, but not serious. I would go into the gym and hit the bag and then meet other people in there and just, we'll spar because kids from the neighborhood will go in there, put the gloves on and start boom, boom, hitting each other.
Right.
So then I went away from it because in the Northeast, anywhere in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, basketball is real big up there. So I went away from boxing and started playing basketball real heavy. But long story short, as soon as I moved here to Florida, I was watching. I remember the fighter, the one fighter. It was Jerson Rosario. He's from Newark, New Jersey, I think, if I'm correct. And I'm there sitting with my dad, like watching this, and I'm like, man, I want to get back into boxing. And it just grabbed a hold of me. And From there on, I think I was 21 years old. And it's been an addiction ever since,
That's awesome how you jumped. You were in it early on. You jumped to basketball and you moved to Florida and you got the itch for it again. Now, you mentioned Rosario. Are you talking about the current 154-pound champion or are you talking about another fighter?
No, another fighter. But
okay.
He fought, and I know you know this fighter. He fought Jeff Lacey in the amateurs.
Okay.
And beat him. I might not be getting his first name right, but his last name I know is Rosario because that name stood out. Tall, lengthy Dominican guy that fights at 168 pounds.
Oh wow!
I saw him with his trunks. And with the Dominican flag on it. And then I see them like. Boxing, I don't know. That fight always stood out to me because that's what brought me back into boxing, which is crazy.
That's awesome. So who would you say growing up was your favorite fighter early on?
Man, growing up, I want to say, since we were just talking about it, I want to say Julio Cesar Chavez Sr.
Okay.
The way Mexican style, come forward,
Right.
take take three or four to land one. His body, size, hand, speed. The way his country loved him. The way everyone loved Julio Cesar Chavez. I would have to say Julio Cesar Chavez is one of my favorite fighters growing up.
That's awesome. So, as far as you getting back into boxing as you come over to Florida, you're 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
What was kind of your path in that direction as far as being in Florida, picking a gym, who you were going to spar with, starting it? Essentially, you're learning the sport still at that point. You kind of have a background.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us about that
Mm-hmm.
transition into the amateur world.
So because I've always been in sports my entire life. That's pretty much my addiction is sports. I don't smoke, I don't drink. I've never smoked, I never drank. Boxing always, not boxing, but sports in general, always brought me, that itch that I needed. So when I got here to Florida, I continued with basketball. I would go, making friends. I would go to the park that was near my house, and I would play basketball constantly. But then I started losing the passion. But I wanted to stay into sports. So once again, like I said, I was sitting down. I'm like, man, I'm not playing basketball anymore. What can I do? And that fight came on, and I found myself back to the gym. It was Costa's Fitness on Bush. So I signed up. I kept on asking my parents, even at the age of 21. I know that's the age where you're pretty much becoming a man, but I didn't have any money. So my dad, as long as you're in sports, he'll support you. He doesn't care how old you are. He doesn't care if you're 21, 25, 30, 35, 40. Doesn't matter. He'll support it. So he supported me. He was like, okay, you want to sign up? So I was like, cool, yeah, let's do it. So we found that gym. I got in there. I started training. Now my father is a person that he wants to see me. He wants to see us, not us, me, because I have an older brother and older sister.
Okay.
He wanted to see me fight. She's like, okay, you're gonna sign up. Okay, we're gonna pay for it. This is me being 21. But you're gonna have to fight. You're not just gonna train just to train. I was like, I don't know about getting in the ring. So okay, fine. I started training and I got hooked. All of a sudden, I started sparring. I'm taking good shots and dishing out and learning the game how it is. I said, okay, fine. I'm gonna fight. So this time he leaves back to Dominican Republic for my first amateur fight, my very first amateur. He's been wanting to see me fight. I trained hard. I'm ready. Well, I thought I was ready. I'm gonna get to that story. I thought I was ready, but he had some business to attend in the Dominican Republic, so he flew back. I went to my fight. It was the novice Golden Glove. So I get in there, and when people would tell me, okay, when you get in the ring, everything you train, unless you retain it and you don't get nervous, you're gonna forget. And you're gonna get tired. They practically walked me through the process. So I get in there. I'm fighting a kid from Tallahassee. I don't remember his name. And I'm going in there first round. He hit me. I go to the ropes and he hits me. Boom! I get dropped. Eddie, when I tell you I got concussed, my head felt like it was this big. I was so busy. But then this is where my life turned around. This is funny because hopefully I'm explaining it so where people can understand that boxing is not all about you hitting and getting hit. It teaches you other things. So I get dropped. I get back up on very, very shaky legs. But I'm literally holding my hands like this to my face and wobbling back and forth. And I thought the referee was going to stop it, but he let it go. So then I go and forget everything, just like they told me, and I'm swinging for the fences like a crazy woman on the street swinging, and I'm going blow for this guy, but I ended up losing. Okay, this is where I found out who I am as a person, and this sport taught me, okay, this is what this is about. Do you want to do it or not? Eddie, I trained so hard after that experience, even being concussed and then telling my father, he's like, oye, Wilson, ganate. I said, no, papi, perdí. And then I had to explain to him, well, this is over the phone. He's in Dominican Republic, and I'm here. I have a headache, a splitting headache. I could barely even think correctly. But I told him what had happened. He's like, okay, Wilson, ya tú sabes, Wilson, you already know what this sport is made of. So I went back into the gym and I trained hard and I wheeled off like 6 or 7 victories in a row. And since that experience that I unfortunately had to endure,
Right.
it just helped me and made me love boxing even and that split second right there told me, yeah, this sport is for me, and I'm gonna be whole. I'm gonna give it everything I have, and that's how my amateur career started. And I started winning and learning, losing some, but winning more than I would lose. But in the amateurs, it's not about winning and losing. It's about learning, getting that experience.
Right.
So when you decide you want to turn professional, it can translate to you being victorious in a professional setting.
Yeah, and just reverting back to the beginning, and you're starting your process as an amateur and talking about Caltas, a Tampa staple. I actually worked out at that same gym when I moved here 6 years ago, ironically. I think Tarver was training there at one point. Did you train upstairs in the gym upstairs? They had a ring upstairs
Yeah,
at one
yeah,
point.
I
Oh
did
man,
train. No,
that
no, no,
brings
no, no. A matter of fact, I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you remember Walt Conrad.
might ring a bell. I'm trying to think. It's been a few years.
Running guy. So the gym on Bush, it wasn't upstairs on the time. It was in the back. So you would walk.
Okay.
You would walk in and you would go directly to the back, and that's
Right.
where the gym was at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where I started. That's where I started my love for my revisitation into the boxing game.
That's awesome. And you made a great point as far as finding yourself. I think a lot of people watch the sport of boxing and think it's a game. It's really not. You learn so much from it, and there's so much to take away. And when you get hit, how are you going to react? And what does it teach you about yourself, and where you can find yourself within the fight, and where you're going to go from there? I mean, you're either going to get knocked out or you're going to keep fighting. So it's a solid point you shared. What would you say as you transition to competing in the sport? About how many years in the amateur circuit, and then you thought about going pro at some point? Talk to us about that process.
All right, so this might hurt a little bit because when I was coming up in the amateurs, I'm gonna give you one example. I went all the way to Fort Walton Beach. I want to say it was 6-7 hours away to fight in the Golden Gloves, and I got 2 walkovers. When I was coming up, it was hard to get fights at 151 pounds here in the state of Florida. So I would go to a lot of shows, and I would fight most of the time, but there was a lot of times, I would just get walkovers, or there was nobody in my weight class. So I'm training extremely hard because boxing. That's the squared circle where the truth always exposes itself. If you train, it's going to show. If you didn't, it's also going to show. If you lacked in a certain area in your training, it's going to show. So that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to have to do something. I'm not leaving the state. So I decided not to leave the state to continue doing amateur fights. People would travel and everything. I was willing to travel, but inside the state.
Okay.
So I would go to shows, like I said, and not get any fights. That's when it started creeping in okay, I'm going to have to go professional. I'm going to have to do something. Even with the lack of amateur experience, I was confident in myself. And that's one thing in the sport of boxing. You have to have a lot of confidence in this sport. If not, people, they can smell it. They can see it on you. Oh, this guy lacks confidence. And then they'll just walk all over you. So that's when it started creeping in. So I was amateur. To answer your question, I was amateur, I want to say, I was 21. I turned pro 25. So 4 years I was amateur. I had, I want to say, anywhere from 20 to 30 amateur. I don't know the exact number, but I didn't want to just continue going to shows and not getting any fights. Because once you get that itch, first of all, I was like, I don't want to get hit. And then once you hit, and then you either win or win. You want to keep going, like, okay, and then tournaments and then the accolades and everything. So I decided to go pro at 25. I got my first professional fight. I don't know if you know Will Velez from Hurricane Boxing.
It rings a bell, I believe so. I don't know him personally, but I've heard the name.
Okay, so
yeah.
He got me my first professional fight. I fought a guy that I fought in the amateurs. I beat him in the amateurs. We fought twice. I beat him twice in the amateurs. And then all of a sudden, I see the name on the contract. I'm like, this name sounds familiar. I can't pronounce it, but yeah, I'm like, this name sounds familiar.
Right.
So we see each other at the weigh-in, Eddie, you know me. I'm a very outgoing guy. I want to hug and kiss somebody.
Right, right,
And I
right.
see the guy, and then I'm here trying to act hard, Eddie. I'm like, I'm not gonna see him. I'm not gonna look at him. I'm not gonna smile at him. He's like, Will, it's all love because he knew me. He's like, Will, it's all love, man. I knew I was fighting you. I didn't know I was fighting him, but he knew he was fighting me.
Mm,
And he's like, yo, it's all, they offered me the fight and I had to take it. We're still cool. You're a great fighter. I wish you the best. This is me and him talking. Like we thought this is crazy because people think, boxers are just I'm gonna try to be as blunt as I can do it. Like they're from the hood, they're idiots. It's a dumb sport. They're
mm,
punching each other in the brain, but there's more to that. That's why
right.
sometimes, most of the time, I don't get mad. But there's some people that they start talking negative about boxing, and I'm invested in the sport. That's
Right.
not I'm not gonna let that fly. But anyway, so we ended up fighting in the professional ranks, and I beat him again. And it was all love, but it was a great experience. It was a great experience for 4 years as an amateur, and then I had that. Then I decided to go pro because of that situation because I couldn't get fights in the amateur. I don't know how long I would have stayed amateur, but I just had decided to go pro and take a swing at the professional ranks.
Yeah, definitely, and I commend you for that. You should be very proud. I know you had a few more fights thereafter in your professional career, and then you pursued other
Mhm.
things. But people have to realize, I'm looking at who you fought in the professional career, and you fought some tough dudes, man. I give you credit for that. A lot of guys, they say, "Oh, he didn't do anything, this and that." Listen, man, you step in the ring, let alone just stepping in the ring. Okay, that's step one. Step
Yep.
two, the opponent. I want to say
Yep.
you fought an A side opponent every time. I'm not saying you were the B side, but I'm talking about guys that
Yeah.
fought for world titles, and you fought them
Mhm.
early
Mhm.
on in your
Yeah.
professional career, which is,
Yeah.
we have a fighter at Team La Perla, Nelson Colon, that's fought on television 2 or 3 times in the Ryan Garcia undercard. And I'm talking your first 6 fights. You're fighting on the zone. You're fighting on Showtime. That's tough. Put in perspective, you fighting those type of opponents, those guys went on to fight for world titles.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
just putting that in perspective, talk to us about those experiences. Fighting guys like
Oh,
Willie Monroe, who went on to fight Golovkin, fighting Silky Wilkie. Talk to us about those experiences.
so look, man. When people ask me what was your record or how many fights did you have, man, hey, I tell them with my chest out because once again, people need to understand it's not wins and losses, man. It's what this sport does to you as a person, as a man. That that boxing did for me. I fought. So my record was 1 win, 2 losses, 1 draw. The first fight, like I told you, was a guy that I fought in the amateurs. I
Right.
beat him. That was my first victory. Then I fought another guy. But see, look, it's gonna sound like I'm giving excuses, but it is what it is. It's factual what I'm gonna tell you. So the second guy was a tough guy, Jean Baptiste, short Haitian guy, stacked. When I'm telling you, he was rock solid, a
Yeah.
lot of pressure, a lot of punches. I got a draw out of that fight. But this is the situation. This is the game that I mean, unless you're in, you don't understand. I didn't know. So I had this guy that got me this fight. Train. So yeah, I'm training. No opponent. Don't know who I'm fighting.
Right.
Can't do any homework. Can't see who I'm fighting. I didn't know I was fighting that guy until the day of the weigh-in, and we just made up the weight. It was first because I wanted to go down at 47 because I'm tall, I'm skinny. I think I could have made 147. Then they were like, no, 50. This is us negotiating on the same exact day. On the same
Wow.
exact day. All of a sudden, it's 54. You see on box, like I don't know what weight class. We ended up agreeing to 154. Didn't know who the heck I was fighting. The guy had, a lot of experience. I've seen him fight before, but I didn't know I was going to get in there in the ring with him as early as I did in my second professional fight. Ended up, I gave my best. I ended up with a draw. Then after that, uh, long layoff. They offered me Willie Monroe. I didn't know who Willie Monroe was. I just wanted to get in the ring and fight. So I was like, yeah, cool. Let's make it happen. I was very confident in myself. I ended up losing a unanimous decision. Then I turn around and they offer me who now is a brother to me. I can literally say I love this guy. It's Silky Wilkie Camport. He fought Jamal Charlo at 154 pounds for the IBF junior middleweight title. Um, Silky, a lot of punches, in tremendous shape, never stops coming. He just got the better of me, and I ended up getting stopped, which oh man hurt in the third round. So those were my four fights. Very difficult fights. I have to if anybody would agree with me, like you said, Willie Monroe fought Golovkin. He fought Billy Joe Saunders. Which is I fought him early in his career. It was a great experience, but yeah, they ended up going to fight for world titles. Silky also he fought Jamal Charlo. Once again, I did lose. I did lose, but I stood there and I did what I had to do. I came up short, but it teaches you lessons. You win some, you lose some. It's how you carry yourself in. I'm going to talk because it's boxing in the ring. So how you carry yourself. It still stings me to this day, man. I saw Willie because Willie and Silky, they know each other. They used to spar each other. They talked on the phone. One day we were watching, I don't know what pay-per-view card. Most likely it was a Floyd Mayweather or Manny Pacquiao card.
Okay.
And both of them were there. Silky and Willie. I knew Silky, obviously, but then I didn't know that they, they hung out around the same circles, and we all took a picture together. It was amazing because Willie, I must say, is a tremendous guy. Yeah. Willie is the nicest guy you can meet. Most fighters, there's a few, but for the most part, I want to say 95 to 98% of the fighters, super, super down to earth. They just want to do what they do, and they treat the fans respectfully. So yeah, it was cool, man. I don't like my record. One win, two losses, one draw, and I still want to have another one just to retire and call it a day. But it was great. It was great. There's nothing I want to change. Nothing at all. I want to give a shout out to Willie Monroe and Silky as they continue in their career. Hopefully they can capture a world title.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. That the fact that you got in the ring, let alone with those two guys. I mean, it's truly commendable. Like I said, you should be proud of yourself. And whether you get back in there or don't hang your head, man. You've done something that many people will never do. So we commend you for that.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
And then you talked about, in focusing on how to be a professional, and we'll transition into your post boxing career. Because obviously you showed what it took to be a professional as a boxer, and then you took that outside of the ring. Talk to us about some of your passions outside of boxing. Obviously, I'm a big sports fan. You're a big sports fan. But talk to us about how you went into other worlds outside of boxing.
So since we're talking about boxing, the topic of boxing, I don't know how to relate how important boxing is to me to this day. I'm 39 years old. I'll be 40 on February 4th, 2021. I still consider myself, I still live my life as a fighter. Minus, this might make you laugh, minus the eating. Because my eating habits are horrible.
Join the club.
They've always been bad, and they will always be bad. So boxing has taught me, first of all, you have to have confidence in yourself in anything you do. That's very important. Another thing that is extremely important and oversees everything is being disciplined in life, in anything you want to pursue. The reason why I'm saying that, because like you said before, you mentioned, I turned my vision into being. I picked up another difficult line of business that I want to go to, and that is acting. So awesome. How I got into it was, once again, I was training for a fight. My sister, who, I don't know, can I give her a shout out here on the show?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, she goes by It's La Loca on Instagram. She's a radio personality up in New York.
That's awesome.
Okay? She's always been the very outgoing, always smiling, bubbly personality that dreams real big. But this one time, for her to be big, she needed me, her little brother, to make this thing happen. So I'm training for a fight. She says, let's drive down to Miami. I'm like, for what? She's like, I want to try out for a reality show. I said, what? You want to try out for a reality show? So I dusted her off. I pushed her to the side numerous times. She's always wanted to work with me. And I'm like, nah, I'm not doing it. I want to stick to boxing. I want to do something in boxing. So while I'm training, I think it was a Saturday off, and we drove down to Miami. She rented the car and everything. I said, yeah, we're not gonna make it. Whatever. Guess what, Eddie? We made it. It was a show on NBC called Escape Route. We were competing for $100,000 and two brand new cars.
Wow.
The reason why I'm saying this is, guess who fell in love with being in front of the camera? Yes, you are looking at him.
Wow.
I fell in love, like I fell in love with boxing. I fell in love with being, and then I'm like, okay, like in boxing, this is not something you just wake up and decide I'm great at.
Right.
So I started taking classes, and then one thing, boxing, and I always have to relate to boxing because, Eddie, this is what boxing has taught me. You cannot be scared. You cannot be scared. There's one thing you cannot do. If you're scared in anything you're doing, you're done. Stick a fork in you, you're cooked, you're not going anywhere. So boxing taught me you can be in the ring, you can do acting. It's just a camera. They're not hitting you. They're not trying to knock you out. They're just trying to make you look good so you can sell a product for them so they can make money.
Right.
So I started taking classes, and little by little, I'm booking gigs. We call them gigs in the business. A commercial or being extra, which is not that big, but still, it helped me towards me doing what I wanted to do. So all of a sudden, then I'm booking a SAG role, and I'm like, I'm not stopping this, and I continue to do it. But I every day I sit back and I thank the sport of boxing for helping me,
build a foundation
to find out who I am, giving me the tools that I need to pursue another venture, which was acting, and that's what I'm doing now. I just got off. As a matter of fact, I had a shoot this past Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'm not going to say the company because I can't, because it's not released yet.
Okay.
But it was a big deal for me, and I'm just looking to the future. Seeing how far I can. Eventually, I want to be in a boxing movie. Let's make it happen.
Yeah,
or
man.
do something far. I'm not at that level, and I'm gonna use boxing again. I'm not at that A level yet of acting. I'm slowly working towards it, and I feel myself getting better and better. And eventually, in the near future, we can book something real big and
compete for a world title.
Keep moving forward.
You're gonna compete for a world title. Excuse me, in the acting
that's
world.
gonna be my world title.
There you go, man.
You know what? Hey, I want to thank you for bringing that up, because you know what's crazy? Okay, in the sport of boxing, you go in there and it's you versus another person, correct?
Correct.
Okay, when you go audition for a part, it's me versus a lot of guys. I'm not looking at it as, well, it is competition because I want to eat. I want that part. I want to make that money.
Yeah.
So boxing, once again, you have to prepare yourself for acting. So I have to read my lines. I have to know what the audition entails. I want, if the director says, okay, I need you to do this, then I got to do it. And if he wants me to do it another way, I have to adapt and I have to transition and do the same thing the way the director wants it. So that's another way boxing plays a big part in what I do now as an actor.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And we look forward to seeing you in your world title fight in the acting world, man. Give me a shout. I'll come celebrate with you. So that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And in transitioning, has that made the transition jumping from acting into the ring with a microphone now? You must feel that's a mix of both. I mean, between the acting, between being a boxer, now you're a ring announcer. Wide array of talents here. Talk to us about that transition as well.
Joey or Duna, does that ring a bell?
Say the name again. I'm sorry.
Joey or Duna.
I don't. Maybe not. I'm trying to think. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So he works with T&K Boxing Promotions, which is
okay. Yes.
Can't remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Joey is the matchmaker.
Okay.
He's the one that got me, and I say this as a joke, as a funny. He got me into all this mess. So he had a show in Lakeland. He didn't have a ring announcer. So I'm here dressed in jeans, and this goes back, Eddie, to what I was saying before. And I might sound like a broken record, but this goes back to not being scared and liking the camera. Both of them, you're mixing it in. He asked me, yo, can you do ring announcing? Because at this time, now everybody knew. Let me just show it. I was involved with sidestep boxing, which I'm the face of that, and we'll get into that little. So, my personality and I'm always smiling, and I love talking about the sport of boxing. So he's like, can you do a ring announcing? Um, Once again, it goes back to what I said. I'm not scared. Yeah, give me the. And I've watched Michael Buffer and all the other greats do it.
Right.
I go in there, I'm about to talk, and Florida Commission does not know me. They said, "Nah, man, you gotta pay a licensing fee to do it." I'm like, "Okay, I'm not paying. Joe, you want to pay it?" No. So that opportunity just crashed and burned. That's it. I didn't get to do it. So Joey's like, "Nah, don't worry about it. I'm gonna get you on on another show to do it." I'm like, "Okay,
Right.
cool." That's when Jimmy Lennon kicks in, Michael Buffer. I start looking at them because once again, you have to prepare yourself. You have to do your homework. I'm not telling you to be like them because that doesn't work in the line of work that I'm doing in entertainment or even in boxing. You have to be your own person. Once again, boxing taught me this. So I'm doing my homework and I get my little ladies and gentlemen, a good evening and welcome, things that are basic. And then I put myself into that role. And man, I just loved it, Eddie. I just loved it being in front of the crowd, introducing the fighters because that's one thing about me. Even though I don't fight anymore, but
Right.
I'm still involved in the sport of boxing and the respect I have for fighters, like you said, that get into the ring, do something that they love to do to entertain other people. I give them the respect. And this might sound weird, like Silky is totally different because we've been involved in different situations, him and I. But fighters might look at me crazy. Like I have so much love for fighters. I not that I look up to them, but I respect them highly, and I want them to know because this sport, as great as it is, it does have its ups and downs. It does have people that are involved that shouldn't be involved in this, that try to take advantage of
Of people.
somebody's talent
Right.
for themselves to make money. But so a lot of fighters, they do look at people like me that cover the sport from the outside. Oh, we might not. They might look at us as we don't know boxing,
Right.
or we're just there to criticize them and down them. I'm here to tell them that me myself personally, I love them. Like I have to use the L word because I truly, truly love fighters, what they do, how they train, because I've been in that situation. I haven't fought for a world title, but I know the miles that they have to run in the morning. They have to lift weight. They have to lift weights. They have to hit the heavy bag, the speed bag, the double end. They have to spar. They have to take constructive criticism. So I know that, and I just want to be here to tell them that I love them. But being a ring announcer and giving them the respect that they deserve, it means everything to me. It might not mean, I put so much energy into it, Eddie, that by the end of the night, I don't have a voice. Like,
Yeah.
I'm looking at them, asking them, okay, what trunks are you wearing? Okay, where do you want to represent? Because I want them to be hyped up. I'm not the one taking the punches or giving out the punches, but I want them to get excited and perform at the highest levels that they possibly can. So that's why ring announcing helps me do that. So when I grab that mic in my hand and I'm showing them, hey, I'm introducing you the way you want it, and I put that energy into it, it's the best. I mean, it makes me so happy to do that for them.
And it's a strong message. You're sharing your passion for what you do in the ring. You're covering multiple bases here, and people are more important than things. You make a solid point there, and that in this sport, there's so many people involved for their own reasons. And a lot of times you need to put the fighters first, and I'm glad you shared that. It's truly a strong message. So thank you for sharing that, Will.
No
Um,
problem, man.
and as we wrap up today, your transition to sidestep boxing, we talked about it a
Mm-hmm.
few minutes ago. Talk to us about how you're on another base, covering from the promotional side.
All right, so sidestep boxing, we cover everything and anything that has to do with the sport of boxing. My friends, my two friends, Daniel and Brian, they're the ones that found it. They're the ones that started sidestep boxing, but they were doing it on a local level. So God works in different ways because I'm saying this because I used to be a personal trainer at Punch Fitness. I met both of them. They were there learning boxing and trying to lose weight. So we started talking about boxing. They're like, well, we got sidestep boxing. We cover boxing. I was like, cool. all of a sudden, I bring out the personality and I'm saying predictions and talking about fighters, and one thing led to another, and I became the face of the page, which is called Side Step Boxing. I have it right here on my T-shirt. Sorry, I moved, Betty. I apologize.
No, you're fine.
So before I continue, make sure you follow Side Step Boxing on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So all of a sudden, excuse me. We're talking about fights that are happening, and
Okay.
like I said before, I have so much passion, so much love for the fighters that are doing it. We just took it to another level, and we got a bunch of followers coming in, and we cover boxing. Any fight that happens anywhere that makes sense, because it's hard to put out how do I say, the lower level fighters, the ones that don't have the name recognition.
Yeah, you're talking about regional coverage, more regional coverage as opposed to national
more
coverage.
Regional coverage. It's harder. We put them out there, but not as much as the Canelo Alvarez's, the Vasily Lomachenko, the Deontay Wilders, the Tyson Fury. The names go on and on and on. So we cover the higher level fighters on a harder coverage, and people have been liking that because when I talk like I'm talking right now, I'm talking from the heart. If there's anything I've been confident in, is talking boxing. Like I honestly love the sport, and that's why I'm guessing it's working over, it's crossing over to the fans, and they see that. So Sidestep has slowly been going up and up and up and up. And we don't know how far we can take this. We do it. We don't get paid. There is no somebody behind us giving us money. When we say something, it's because how we feel. There's no association with Top Rank or the Zone or
Right.
all the other PPC or all the other companies. So there is no. We're talking directly how we feel. So that's why I think Sidestep Boxing. Well, I know Sidestep Boxing is a beautiful thing, and we're going to keep pushing it as far as we possibly can.
That's awesome, and that's like here on the Sunday Sit Down series. We interview anyone. There's no no subjectivity to any contract or any of that, and we're glad that you shared that, and I'm glad you give the shout outs and the respect to all fighters. Like you said, when anybody that's willing to get in between the ropes or get in the octagon, you have to respect that from square one. Many people will never do that. So I appreciate you sharing that. Now, Will, we have a fun segment of the series, and we talk about our fast facts. So what is a place you want to visit that you've never been?
All of Europe, the United Kingdom.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So the whole, all of it. Nothing specific within Europe.
Okay, now let me ask you, for a sporting event or for vacation?
You could do both, I guess, if you want a 2-part question. Okay, I haven't heard that one yet. I like that.
Sporting event, I have to go with the UK.
So the O2, I believe the O2 is in England.
The O2 Arena, or even Wembley Stadium.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. It could be a soccer. Obviously, I would like it to be a boxing event, but it can be a soccer. It can be anything because I want to be in that type of energy, that type of environment where they're singing and dancing. And I'm gonna sip on a soda because I don't drink.
Okay.
So I'm gonna drink a soda and I'm gonna yell with them. There's only one Ricky Hatton. Oh, I still remember that.
Yeah.
I brought up again, but yeah, that's one place I want to visit. And vacation. Let's go with I've been saying this for a while. I want to go to New Zealand.
Okay.
I want to go far
under
to the other side of the world.
Yeah.
And visit another, somebody's called, their culture. I want it because I love that. Their culture. I want to see that, see how they live, see how it is out there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I definitely know what you mean. I'd like to go over to the O2 one day and watch a boxing match. Just see it from a different side. I think it reminds me of the old Cotto fights at the Garden when I grew up with that. And that's just a different energy. You can't replicate that. So I've looked one day when you go, let me know. I'm going to have to join you there.
Hey, we're going together. Don't want you to worry about anything.
All right, man. Sounds good. Sounds good. What would be your favorite food?
My favorite food? I love my plátanos, man.
The plátano power, right?
Plátano power. There you go. I like mango. I like totones. Anything that has to do with the plantain involved in it.
Okay, and that's healthy too, man. That's give you a lot of power, a lot of energy. That's good. That's
Okay.
good.
Well, it didn't give me any power. I didn't have that much power, but I like how it tastes.
What's something most people don't know about you?
I'm a mama's boy.
Okay.
I love my mother. I love my mother. Like, man, it's just like I get emotional even talking about her. She's meant so much to me throughout my, raising me and helping me become the man that I am today. So, my mother, my wife, beautiful woman. We've been together for a very, very long time, and my son. Whoo, wait, hold on, let me get a napkin because these three people and my dad. Anything that has to do. I'm a family man.
Okay.
My family means everything to me. I want to be with them as long as not humanly possible. As long as God keeps them here on this earth and healthy and capable of moving and doing things. My family means everything to me. So I'm gonna have to bunch them in all together because even my in-laws are tremendous people.
Awesome.
They're from Puerto Rico. Tremendous people. I love my family so much. That could be a whole entire segment about family because they've done so much to me. I've done so much for me.
That's awesome. Strong message. And with Sidestep Boxing, we'll get you here in the studio in Orlando here eventually. We'll get you out to Puerto Rico and Team La Perla, the boxing gym out there. If you want to come in anytime, you're welcome. The door is always open. So I want you to know that.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Definitely. And as we wrap up today, what is your message to the youth out there that are either interested in boxing, acting, being a ring announcer, and just pursuing their passions? What's your message to them today?
My message is very simple. If you've been watching this, don't be scared, man. I know it sounds, redundant, but go out there, chase your dreams. Don't let anybody tell you you can't. But that being said, you have to learn what you want to get into. You have to do your homework. You have to be prepared. Be prepared at all times. This is not okay. I'll take a little class here, or I'll hit the bag. You have to constantly hone your skills in whatever you want to accomplish. So main thing is go after. First of all, find out what you want to do. Go after it. Do your homework and don't be scared. Continue doing. Don't let anybody stop. Do not, because there's always going to be a roadblock. You got to get past that roadblock. Because if it was so easy, everybody would do it. Everybody would go their dreams. Oh, this is super simple. Let me just go wake up and I want to be this. And no, it doesn't work like that. So just pursue it. Don't be scared and work hard.
Definitely. And we're all going to fail at something. It's not accepting it. It's adjusting to it and getting over the bump in the road and continuing to move forward. Will Montero, we truly appreciate your time today. And we look forward to seeing you in your world title fight in the acting world. Might see you back in the ring. We don't know. But that is Will Montero, professional actor. And with Sidestep Boxing, we look forward to seeing you move forward with that as well. And we thank you for your time on the Sunday Sit Down series today.
First, Eddie, thank you so much for having me on, and I want to say, let me see if I can work this out in Spanish. I don't know if they watch it over there, le quiero mandar un saludo a Team La Perla. That's what it's called, La Perla?
Sí.
Oye, le deseo lo mejor a todos los boxeadores, que sigan ahí peleando y para adelante, Team La Perla, man. Eddie, man, thank you so much for real for having me on. This was great. I got everything off my chest that I wanted to get. You asked great questions.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
and
man.
We look forward to having you at the gym, man. Anytime, you're welcome there in San Juan. Yeah. Let me know. When you want to come, the door is always open. So we appreciate that message you're sharing to the team.
No sparring, okay? Oye, yo no voy a guantear. Nobody asked me for sparring because I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, the door's open, so the ring is right there when you walk in. So we'll go and we'll hang out. And we'll show you around. So.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Beautiful island of Puerto Rico. I've been there. I went to Rincon. I did go to San Juan. I walked, the little sidewalk by La Perla. I didn't go in, but, I walked around there, ate at Old San Juan. Beautiful country, man. Beautiful island. Beautiful island.
Thank you so much for saying that. And like I said, when you're there, let me know when you're going again. I'll be there in October at the gym. So if you want to join me, let me know.
Man, I'm going to have to take you up on that offer because I got to go back to the island. I got to go back to the beautiful island of Puerto Rico.
There you have it. Thank you so much, Will, for joining us on the Sunday Sit Down series.
Thank you so much, Eddie. It's been a pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care.